Negroes are allowed. And not
I'm white. I got you, Carl.
Yeah, illegally selling water without a permit
on my property.
Whoa! Hey!
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now, and this applies to anybody who is white and anybody who is black. Sometimes it's some shit you don't need to say or admit to publicly. Well, y'all, Ellen Pompeo, the star of Grey's Anatomy, she plays Meredith. Well, Ellen decided to share with everybody the story of how she put Denzel Washington in his place. Now, I need y'all to understand something. It didn't go well when Katie Couric brought up something that Denzel, how he supposedly treated her a few years ago. That ain't go too well for Katie. Katie was even hot with me. She sent me an email and wanted to talk to me. I said, let's talk. She never called me back. Katie, what's up? You got my number? I got your number. So, but that's fine. That's fine. That's neither here nor there. Well, Lil Ellen tells this story of when Denzel was directing an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and she said that the other actor improvised, so she decided to improvise and then jumped on the actor, started telling him how he should be performing, and then Denzel said, hold up, you ain't the director? And she was like, who the hell are you? This is my show.
She said,
and she was like, Denzel came at...
Motherfucker. That's what she said.
Wait, what?
She said, listen, motherfucker,
quote,
this is my show. She admitted to this, to Denzel Washington. Sorry, Roland, but you had to say that part.
Right. Well, I know you really wanted to say it.
No,
I know. I mean, I can say it, but I know you really wanted to say it.
No,
so she was like, "Yeah, yo, this mine." She actually decided to tell the story. Black folks been lighting her ass up for the last 24 hours. It ain't. She probably gonna come out with an apology, because I just need y'all to understand. You cannot talk trash about Jesus, Dr. King, Aretha Franklin.
That's right.
Idris and Denzel.
Or
You
Patty,
can't.
Miss Patty.
I'm just saying, you can't.
You can't.
You cannot do that. It is not going to end well for you when you do that. Ellen, keep some shit to yourself. And when you drunk with your friends, share that story when nobody got a camera on. But, yo, Risha, they been on home. And look, it don't, and Ellen, just because your husband black.
We don't care.
You can't. You girl just
Wait,
not Denzel.
when did this happen, yo?
She shared the story yesterday. So here's another issue that I have with it, because her whole point of this story was to put it out there that Denzel, quote unquote, went nuts on me. But then you proceed to tell us how you lost your crazy ass mind on the Denzel Washington. And see, that's the problem that I be having with white women, because the story get flipped. And in this case, you told us that you were already sitting up there lying. Denzel did not flip on you. We know good and damn well ain't no black man gonna flip on a white woman on set, especially not anybody of Denzel Washington's caliber. He know better than to get crazy with some white woman who was a star of the show. Now, you gotta admit she's a star of the show. But how in the hell did you, saying listen, motherfucker, to Denzel Washington become Denzel Washington?
In fact, no. This is, hold on. I'm a quote. She said, he was, this is what she said. Denzel went ham on my ass. He was like, I'm the director. Don't you tell him what to do. And I was like, listen, motherfucker, this is my show. This is my set. Who are you telling? Like, you barely know what a bathroom is. And I have the utmost respect for him as an actor, as a director, as everything. But like, yo, we went at it one day. First of all, ain't your goddamn show. It was Shonda's show.
Right.
Ain't your damn set. It was Shonda's set. Dr. Hill, I don't know what's up with these white women thinking they can just say some stuff. So they giving Ellen the business.
And you say that she got a melanin husband. Maybe she believes that because she's getting some of that black stuff, that she can say whatever she wants to say. Because there are women who believe that, well, I'm getting that, you know, black thing, so I can do this and this and this. No, you can't. No, you can't. So I'm wondering, what is hubby saying? Did he say, girl, you messed up? Or, you know, did he say, Karen, it's okay, I'm here? You know, that may have a lot to do with her attitude, believing that, you know, she can say what she wants to say. We have to look at the why of it. What is the psychological profile for her to feel that she can say that? And would she have said it if she wasn't getting that black stuff? I'm just saying.
See, Greg, this is how the conversation should have went down. This is how the conversation should have went down when Ellen came home. Okay. Her husband should have been sitting at the dining room table with a cup of black coffee. And he should have been sitting there waiting. And when she came home and said, hey, honey, how you doing? He should have said, sit your ass down. He should have said, now, baby, let me explain something to you. Now, I love you. And you my wife. But your ass ain't gonna have me going up against Denzel Washington and all of Denzel's fans. Now he can say, now look, now I know you married to me being a black man, but it's some stuff you don't say to a other black man that you think you can say. Cause I'm just letting you know right now, you ain't got those privileges to say that nonsense. And then you're going to demean by saying he didn't even know where the bathroom is? No, boo, that ain't how this works. So I'm going to need you to walk that shit back, because we clearly ain't going to ever be able to go back to the NAACP Image Awards. We ain't going to get invited to no black cookouts. Now, you done messed my shit up, because I can't go nowhere black with your ass, because your ignorant ass decided to tell the story publicly about how you called Denzel Washington a motherfucker.
Right.
Are we clear, honey?
Right. That's right.
Now go and cook me some grits. I'm sorry. Greg, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but you know, but that's interesting. I mean, I was bemused at first, and then of course, I guess reading there from the article that you showed, when his wife came on set, she repeated the story and said, I had to get after him. And so, you know, as a theater major undergrad, I understand the way that actors behave when it's just actors around. Because again, this wasn't a closed set, and it wasn't just her and him. There were other people around. The fact that this story didn't get out may mean in that context, it's just, you know, man, they talking crazy. And as you said, Denzel know how to move through the world, like you said, Reese. That having been said, I was sitting here trying to substitute untouchable white icons for Denzel. And I'm wondering if Paulette Washington, who was an actress, had been on set and called Tom Hanks directing that, a motherfucker, whether or not Tom Hanks would have responded. And then if Tom Hanks' wife would have, the actress would have come on set and repeated that. I'm wondering, I'm saying the license that people think they have with black people, that's one thing. But I think all of that is speculation. Here's the issue she faces, and you just nailed it, of course. It's what we're talking about. Denzel Washington is an untouchable for us. So whereas in your little bubble of acting world, you think it's okay to use the salty language and back and forth, this ain't Isaiah Washington 10 years ago. This Denzel, which means even if it's a misunderstanding, you think it's a cute actor story, you're done. Now, I don't watch any of those shows anyway that came out of Shonda World because, you know, I just got my own. At some point, you got to draw a line in terms of minstrelsy, but as far as I'm concerned. But that having been said, this ain't Isaiah. And I know you think all black men are the same, including your husband. And brother, you better sit her down and tell her that regardless of what happened, black folk draw the line. So she can't walk that back. There's no apology she can make. She already done said it, and she bragged about it. So there's really nothing she can do.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, and with regards to that hypothetical you mentioned, I'll send Paulette a text and I'll ask her if she would do that. I'll let you know what she say about that, because you know I already sent I already sent her a text. Cause just so y'all know, see, sometimes when you're a smart journalist, you always get to know the wife.
Yes.
Because see, that way it's like, look at here, I need to get somebody, call the wife. So that's why y'all understand, part of my success is mamas and wives love Uncle Roro. And mamas and wives tell their husbands and children what to do and what to watch. And so that's how I roll.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day. Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared. You dig? Y'all know what time it is.
No charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, Pearl.
Illegally selling water without a permit
On my property.
Whoa! Hey!
Give us your right.
You don't live here.
I'm uncomfortable.
Well, you know, you got black folks walking their dogs and they traveling, just minding their own business, just being black. And then you always have the dog park Debbie who decides to open her damn mouth. Well, this took place in Brooklyn, in the neighborhood in Williamsburg, where this white woman told a black couple to stay in your neighborhood. Well, one of the people who she was harassing is the brother Frederick Joseph. Who is he? The author of the book, The Black Friend, on being a better white person. Now, the woman has not been identified, but her ass has been fired by her company because guess what? Derek Anderson, the CEO of Bevy, believed to be her employer, took the swift action, apologizing to the couple, and then announced on Twitter yesterday an employee engaged in behavior contrary to our values and has been terminated. Reese, I keep saying every black person, when one of these white folks get fired, 50 black people should be flooding that office with application. Take their job.
Hell yeah. And did you say Fred T. Joseph? I mean, he's a pretty big influencer. So, you know, you fuck with the wrong one, Karen, okay? Because he actually has a platform. He was able to put your dumb ass on blast. Yeah, fire them all. You know, I say, well, let me not say that because this is a news show. But all I have to say is quit fucking with black people. Who the hell? Maybe you need to go back to your neighborhood. How do we know that you belong to your neighborhood? How do we know you ain't from some trailer park somewhere? How you look at the black people walking their dog, minding their business, and determine that they don't belong where they are? Maybe you don't belong where you are. As a matter of fact, you definitely don't if you messing around and harassing black people. Now your ass is out of a job in the middle of a pandemic.
Y'all, here's the actual video. Watch this.
Hood? No.
I'm gonna invite everyone.
Stay in our hood? Stay in our hood. That's what, I'm sorry, what? Stay in our hood? Stay in our hood. You just told us to stay in our hood? You just told us to leave the dog park and stay in our hood.
Oh my god, did you just say that to me? Shit.
Wow. Oh, that's funny.
Wow, the Karenism, the white.
I'm sorry, you were right here, watch this entire thing. Did she just not stand here and tell us to stay in our hood?
She did.
You just told us to stay.
All I ask, Dr. Hill, when y'all record these videos, please, can you record horizontal a landscape so we can see all of the racism on the screen? That way we don't have to put a logo in the back, you know, versus the black bars. So we need to see her big ass face. So please, y'all. See, don't shoot videos this way. That's why you get the black bars on the side. You turn your phone this way, it'll fill a whole screen up.
Listen, Roland, thank you. You know, Karen is just out of control, and we all know why. You know, she's scared, she mad, because she look up, and she ain't having no babies. Her population is shrinking. She is becoming the minority, and she and Todd don't know what to do. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, you know, welcome to America. It's training. It's turning now. So you got to deal with it. And I'm just waiting for Karen to come and approach me. She hasn't, you know, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And you know, I was glad that the man was standing there and he said, yep, that's what she said. And this innocent, oh my God, you're attacking me. Girl, please, you better go somewhere with all that. But
you know what? You noticed for a second there, he did pause. Like, there was part of him that was like, I'm a white man, I don't know if I want to get involved. But then he was like, this might go viral. I ain't trying to be that white man who sat up there and sided with the Karen. So that he went on and said, yeah, she said that. Mm-hmm. But he hesitated. He hesitated.
That's right.
Greg, I'm telling you, look, y'all keep acting the fool. I just keep firing. Keep firing. That's why everybody y'all keep shooting. And your whole time you keep going, you about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. And then, and like the fool yesterday at FedEx, if y'all want to be so racist and you actually want to shoot your own videos, I highly encourage you. You know what? If you're a white supremacist and you want to shoot your own video, I'm okay if you shoot this direction. You can 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 shoot this direction. Just show your face so we can track your ass down.
But wait, after Dr. Carr, can we talk about Karen Pompeo? Because she told on herself, too.
Oh.
And Denzel. But go ahead,
Hold
Dr.
on. Hold on. Okay, I will extend the show for 3 more minutes, but Greg, answer that, and then we'll talk about Ellen Pompeo.
No, very quickly, I would just say, you know, it feels good and it's important. At the same time, I mean, these incidents are like thermometers. We're in a country where white folk feel like they can say and do whatever the hell they want. She was genuinely shocked when they pushed back. Oh, what? What did you say to me? In other words, you know, every white person in America is a potential deputy. And this is the whole point. And so pushing back is important. Although, you know, this can cut all kind of ways. What I don't want to see happen is black people start losing their jobs if this thing were to flip in another direction. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. The only other thing I would say is, and I agree with you, Reese, I felt the same way. I said the white boy kind of hesitated. Chapter 6 in the brother's book is, so your friend is racist. What should you do? Here's the point. That white man made a choice. He had his beer in his hand. He tried to enjoy his favorite beverage, and he was like, damn. What the hell? And in a split second, he came down on the side of the angels. But you're right, Reese. He hesitated for a minute. So we have to always be cognizant. White people, there's a choice to be made. Go read Brother Joseph's book, chapter 6. So your friend is racist. What should you do? You better act real quick. It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punching!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared. You dig? Over the weekend, of course, you had Senator Tim Scott, who was on Face the Nation, and he was blaming Democrats for the George Floyd Justice Act not passing, saying that it didn't pass because they wanted to defund the police. Let's just be real clear. Tim Scott is lying. The bottom line is that, and we had Congresswoman Karen Bass on the show. She shared with us all that they were trying to do, all that they did, all of the different ways that they were providing, giving in to the demands. But what was real interesting here is that over the weekend, again, we saw Tim Scott making all these claims, but he won't fully come out. And what I understand is, why not do it sitting next to Senator Cory Booker? Why not actually, first of all, let's come to a black source. We know that ain't gonna happen. We've been trying to get him on the show for the last 3 or 4 years. He won't do it. But it says a whole lot that that Senator Tim Scott will say that the Democrats are trying to defund the police. No, Senator Tim Scott failed. Because you heard what Congresswoman Karen Bass said. Mitch McConnell was like, a bill that he brings to us, we're going to be able to support. Also, keep in mind, y'all, Senator Tim Scott's trying to run for president. So all of this, okay, let's blame defund the police. How can he say, let's blame defund the police, when, according to Congresswoman Karen Bass, you had Senator Cory Booker who went out and cut a deal, with the police unions? So I'm sort of confused. So here is, matter of fact, I want to pull up the right sound bite here so we can, this is what Tim Scott said on Face the Nation. Listen.
There wasn't a net loss of funding. In fact, there was funding being increased in terms of increased mental health funding specifically, that there were specific programs for recruitment and training funding increases, body-worn camera funding increases, data collection.
Yes.
So that's not cutting funding. It's might be allocating it in different ways.
Actually, Here's what we know. We have about $1 billion in grant money that goes to police. When you start saying in order to receive those dollars, you must do A, B, and C, and if you don't do A, B, and C, you literally lose eligibility for the two major pots of money, the burn grants and the COP grants. When you tell local law enforcement agencies that you are ineligible for money, that's defunding the police. There's no way to spin that. You can spin it by saying...
But this would codify the Trump executive orders.
Let me finish. The Trump executive order, I actually agreed to. What I did not agree to was the cuts that come from non-compliance. When you say, once again, that in order for you to receive the money for the burn grants or the COP grants, you must do the following. And if you don't do the following, you lose money. That's more defunding the police. We saw that tried throughout the country. You want to cut funding for underperformance, is what you're saying? Not at all. I would say...
You would want to increase to police departments that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Let's look at what we're asking for. What the Democrats asked for was a simple thing. They asked for more reporting on serious bodily injury to death. I said that's a great idea. When they wanted to nationalize local policing, I said that's a bad idea. When they say that every single traffic stop in this country must be reported to the federal government, whether it's a traffic ticket or stopping someone on the streets of New York or Charleston, every single time that you have any interaction, for the federal government to be in charge of all that information, I say let's do it, but let's do it voluntarily.
Okay. Y'all, that's bullshit. What Senator Tim Scott has laid out is utter bullshit. Let's do it voluntarily. Would y'all like to know the history of voluntarily waiting on police to submit information? Lauren, wasn't there a particular bill that was passed by Congressman Bobby Scott that dealt with the police voluntarily submitting use of force data? What happened? They didn't do it.
Right, they just didn't do it. They just ignored it.
They did not do it. So explain to people how that voluntary bullshit worked on use of force.
Yeah, Tim Scott is a piece of work. I don't understand why he can't just articulate that he's against the policy and just be done with it, you know. But anyway, to your question, Bobby Scott passed a bill that effectively just mandated that you report deaths in custody, in police custody. Because, of course, and this is what's so stupid about what Tim Scott just said, when you have that type of data from police departments, when they have death in custody, you have the data, you have the demographic data, you have how that person died. Sometimes it could be legit, sometimes it may not be, but you have data that can be used for a lot of things, right? And Tim Scott knows that. And the idea that they were sitting down with this guy and could not agree on something that simple is ridiculous. I'm not sure why Cory Booker, who, by the way, is not known for his stellar ability to get anything passed when it comes to justice reform. I mean, he's good at getting into documentaries and he's good at talking about it, but when it comes to actually passing a piece of legislation, even when the Democrats have the majority, he's not been all that successful. But I'm not sure why he's not lighting up Tim Scott. I mean, his answer when reporters were asking him about this was, I love him and, ooh, he's all right. No, you need to tell us exactly what was going on.
Well, let me be real clear. We've been trying to get him on the show. The cell phone number I used to have, now his staff monitors that. We sent an email and text message, have not heard back. But again, I need people.
It's embarrassing.
I need people to understand. I need people watching to understand the bullshit that came out of Senator Tim Scott's mouth. I'm gonna play this again, and I'm gonna stop it. And I'm going to give y'all a prime example of how what he said, his own state of South Carolina actually did. Listen to this.
I would say that there wasn't a net loss of funding. In fact, there was funding being increased in terms of increased mental health funding specifically, that there were specific programs for recruitment and training funding increases, body-worn camera funding increases, data collection. Yes. So that's not cutting funding. It's might be allocating it in different ways.
Actually, here's what we know. We have about $1 billion in grant money that goes to police. When you start saying in order to receive those dollars, you must do A, B, and C, and if you don't do A, B, and C, you literally lose eligibility for the two major pots of money, the burn grants and the COP grants. When you tell local law enforcement agencies that you are ineligible for money, that's defunding the police. There's no way to spend that. You can spend it by saying.
All right. So let me walk y'all through why what Senator Tim Scott just said is absolutely complete, utter bullshit. There was a time, y'all, in America where the age to drink was 18. Ronald Reagan was president. There was an effort in America to raise the drinking age to 21. There were states that did not want to do that. There were states that were making a lot of money, like Louisiana, off of selling alcohol to folks 18 above. So you know what the federal government did? The federal government said, no problem. States, in order for you to be eligible for federal highway money, you must raise your drinking age to 21. They said, no problem. If y'all want to keep it at 18, keep it at 18. But if you want federal highway funds, you got to raise it to 21. Louisiana was the last state to agree to raise their minimum drinking age to 21. So explain this to me, Senator Tim Scott. If the federal government did that for highway funds, is that not the same by saying if you don't comply with these things, then you're not eligible for this money? I'm sorry. There are numerous other examples where the United States Congress, the House and the Senate, and the president signed into law. There are numerous other examples where the federal government has said, states, in order for you to be eligible for these federal funds, you must do ABC. So I need Senator Tim Scott to explain to me the difference. This is why I'm calling bullshit on what he said, because he's lying. What he does not want to own up to is Senator Tim Scott wants to kiss the ass of the police. Senator Tim Scott didn't have the, and I don't want to hear all that crap, oh, how you've been racially profiled. But damn it, that's why they're asking for the data. They're asking for the data, Tim, because they're tired of law enforcement lying. Why is the data important? And why is the racial designation of the data important? Because then all of a sudden, when they start showing, black people are getting stopped at a 78% higher rate for traffic violations than white people, but black people only comprise a certain percentage of the city. Just hold on. Art Acevedo. Chief Art Acevedo, the former police chief of Houston, Texas, who is now the police chief in Miami. I want to show y'all what he did recently.
This is what Chief Acevedo did. He actually came in and stated that he uncovered a pattern of unlawful use of force by officers, and then said the chain of command covered it up. Read. This is what he wrote. Furthermore, since my arrival at MPD in April, I have uncovered a pattern of unlawful use of force by officers, and in some instances, the chain of command has covered up the unlawful use of force by some officers. I have discussed my concern regarding the failure of some MPD supervisors and managers to hold officers accountable for the unlawful use of force. I have begun the process of addressing this issue with the assistance of Deputy Chief Morris, who has extensive experience as the former commander of internal affairs at HPD. And I look forward to obtaining additional help with the position slated for policy and constitutional polling to help reform the department. That might mean constitutional policing. However, during this September 13th commissioner meeting, Commissioners Carollo, Reyes, and Diaz de Portilla manipulated the budget process to hamper my reform by eliminating the funding for the two aforementioned positions, which are critical to any serious reform efforts. So we have examples of some chiefs of police wanting better oversight, of wanting there to actually be real police oversight, but you got local folks who want to stop it because they're in the bed of police. What you're dealing with here is you're dealing with, again, the failure of Senator Tim Scott to actually bring along. Let me say it again. For all of the complaining, from Senator Tim Scott, he has been an abject failure. And so, and let me be real clear, I got Senator Tim Scott's number. Matter of fact, I'm just going to pull it up. And I'm just going to let y'all know. I'm scrolling back. The last time Senator Tim Scott has responded to one of my text messages was on March 13th, 2017. I've texted him on June 25th. Matter of fact, let me see. Again, what I don't appreciate is when people like to sit here and play games. I don't like it when they play games, when they want to say things and they don't want to. Just y'all stay right there. Let me go get my device because I'm about to pull this text message up because I'm not interested in just talking. I want to show y'all what I'm talking about. So I'm looking for my device that allows for me to plug it up right to my iPhone. Cause see, and I know for a fact he ain't changed his phone number because I double checked with some other folk to see if this is still his phone number. Now, just like when you had Alan West, who refused to do stuff. So March 13th, 2000, come on, go to my phone. March 13th, 2017, I sent Senator Tim Scott messages here with regards to Congressman Steve King. He responded, okay, laid it out. Then I laid it out, what we gonna do. So here's June 25th, 2017. Are you available to do Tom Joyner Morning Show to discuss the GOP's Senate healthcare bill? No response. December 19th, 2018, we should do a sit down on opportunity zones. No response. January 15th, 2019, are you available to do the Tom Joyner Morning Show in the morning? No response. Then he had a gathering of black senators on February 6, 2019. No response. March 17th, 2019. Available to do Tom Joyner Morning Show. No response. Then Wednesday, I sent him another deal. Can you come on to discuss this here? Let me send him again. I am live right now. You know what? I'm going to actually do one better. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Senator Tim Scott, I'm live on my show right now. We're talking about the failure of the Senate to pass the George Floyd Justice Act. Hit me up, call me back, call me or text me so you could come on the show to explain to our audience, African-American audience, why this failed. I saw you on Face the Nation. I saw all the responses, but I got a whole bunch of other questions. So for instance, I got a whole lot of other questions I need you to answer because frankly, what I'm hearing is not, I'm not feeling that. So hit me back. This is my number. You text me back, have your people. And if you want to sit down for the full hour, we can do it. In studio, not in studio. You want to sit down for the full 2 hours, we can do that as well. But let's have a real conversation about why this George Floyd Justice Act failed when you and Senator Lindsey Graham promised that y'all were going to actually get this thing done to the George Floyd family. Send. See,
it'll never happen.
See, I told y'all I don't play these games. What Senator Tim Scott walked through, now I want y'all to listen, I want y'all to listen to this one. Listen, watch this. Hold up, let me plug it back. Let me plug it back up, because I want to play this other sound bite. And see, this is why, I know you're fine. You can go talk to Margaret Brennan all you want to on Face the Nation, but she ain't going to ask the questions I'm going to ask you. Listen to this.
Senator Cory Booker, who was your partner in this.
Yes.
I mean, this started under the Trump administration and continued under the Biden administration.
Exactly.
When Republicans in control went nowhere, Democrats in control, it's going nowhere.
But both times, the folks that left the table were the Democrats. Let's just be clear that we have stayed at the table. We said simply this: I am not going to participate in reducing funding for the police after we saw major city after major city to fund the police. Many provisions in this bill that he wanted me to agree to limited or reduced funding for the police. That's a lose-lose proposition. When you reduce funding for police, you actually lose lives in the communities. Our approach was a win-win approach. We want the best wearing the badge, and we want the vulnerable protected. So when you tie funding losses in this legislation, you should expect an allergic reaction from me.
Okay, so again, why that's nonsensical is because you already heard Brennan break it down where the money was going to be shifted. That's not defunding the police. You cannot say, if I give you X amount of dollars and a portion is going to go here and here, you're still getting it. You're literally still getting the money. But what Senator Tim Scott is really saying is, no, we don't want the money to go to mental health. Even though police have said that they are bothered having to do these mental health calls because they're not equipped for it. But see, we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, some of the unions are for it.
Yeah. And so
some of the unions were for what they were talking about, and Scott stopped it. You know, the other thing that comes to mind, of course, is Walter Scott, who was shot in the back, what was it, 5 or 6 times a few years ago, and Lindsey Graham and Senator Tim Scott got all emotional about it, and we've got to do something about police brutality, and then nothing happened. I actually think the real question here, too, is why are they talking to Tim Scott? You're in control of Congress and the White House. Why are you talking to people and negotiating?
Easy, because hold on. While we were on the air, to your point, Senate Republicans blocked the increase in the debt limit, and the same thing because they're like, it's on y'all.
You pass what you can pass with the majority, and what you can't pass, you can't pass.
No, but here's my whole point.
What you need 60 votes for, you need 60 votes for.
Hold up. Do you need 60 votes? Wait a minute. Do you need 60 votes
for the George Floyd Justice Act, or is the real problem you got Manchin and Sinema, who they refuse to put real pressure on to submit to breaking the filibuster?
Absolutely, and that is the ultimate problem. But there are typically other vehicles of legislation, of course, that pass that you can insert language into. And there's no reason why George Floyd can't be one of those packages you insert into something that's maybe a 50-vote margin vote. That you know, you have to make a deal another way. But why Cory Booker and these people think that they're going to get anywhere with Mitch McConnell and Tim Scott on justice reform? That is fantasy world. It's absolute fantasy.
Hey, Juliana, is what I said to Congresswoman Karen Bass. I had absolutely no faith, zero, nada.
That's right.
None. That Senator Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham were going to be able to bring over 8 other Republicans. I had none.
And you're absolutely right to have none. I mean, many of us believe that faith works, but it don't work this time. What we've got going on here is basically Republicans, they don't care about public policy. They don't care about people. They care about winning. And that's all they care about. And so when you see someone like a Mitt Romney, who knows better? I mean, I could call out the name of 10 Republican senators who know better, but they're not going to do better because they don't have to. They're not going to do better because this is a story of how essentially Republicans and them Trumpies have essentially taken over the Republican Party seat and made decency a marginal value. There, 20 years ago, you look, 30, 40, the Rockefellers, there's so many people who, we didn't agree with them on money, but they were decent. Now there is no decency in the Republican Party, and that's why your faith was misplaced.
Makongo?
I noticed that you said he hadn't texted you since, I think, March of 2017. That coincides with 2 months after Trump came into office. So he was clearly being strategic from the jump in terms of his allegiance. I mean, he's not an honest broker. Just like Lauren was saying, the Republicans are not honest brokers. Like all of us said, we knew it was doomed from the start. And let's be clear. Money is not given to anybody without any types of stipulations. I mean, Dean Malveaux knows this. You get college scholarship there, you get a bad grade, you lose the money. So he's sitting there talking to Brennan, and Brennan is saying twice, you are fine with underperforming departments still getting money? And he says yes. And then on top of that, in the next clip, he says he wants the best officers. They want these guys to continue to operate with impunity. And when he talks about this defunding the police, the Republicans did everything they can to block everything that Biden has done that would actually give more money to the police and give more money to the communities that they serve so that they wouldn't have to be called and come out and have to, like you said, be the social worker, be the mental health worker, and they block that. So just because in this society we are not able to think critically, we got these trigger words, and whenever we hear something like defund the police or woke or critical race theory or whatever, we immediately go into our silos. He's using that, and he's going to use that all the way into a presidential campaign. I'm glad you are exposing this, and we, again, we got to get rid of this filibuster, and we got to make this happen. You just talked about what the Republicans did. They are masters at minority rule. And they are doing the Democrats right now. It's ridiculous.
Look, this is a tweet right here. Listen to this. This guy, Will Selden. 3 times in this interview, Senator Tim Scott defines conditional grants to police departments, offering to give them money if they comply with rules such as banning chokeholds as defunding the police. The phrase defunding the police has lost all meaning.
Yeah, well, see, that's why he won't come on your show, Roland, because you are going to ask him detailed questions about what that burn grant money goes to, which, by the way, is usually things like body-worn cameras, police equipment. So as the interviewer on CBS said, even though she didn't conduct a particularly good interview, she made the point, he's not talking about a net loss of money. He's talking, of course, about the stipulations required under the burn grant program, which has been around forever. This is not new. So he threw that defund police out there just as a hot button thing when that's not what happened. because as you already brought up, he's lying. He can't withstand that type of questioning from a Roland Martin. Like, you're not going to get away with that in an interview with Roland Martin. You're not. You're not going to be able to bullshit your way through that conversation. So what it requires is for somebody to walk up to him physically, which I'm going to try to do tomorrow on Capitol Hill, and ask him. I mean, you can't. I'm sure that reporters have probably already tried to do this, but it's an in-person conversation. There's no doubt about it, and he knows exactly what he's doing. It's a PR game.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think that when you look at it, he wouldn't give Roland the interview because Roland would roast his chestnuts on open fire. But even more than that, he is unwilling to be accountable. So he's Mr. Bojangles. I mean, he plays the game. He's black. He's down. He's been profiled. You know, and at the same time, what he's doing is he is essentially blocking progress.
Which why not just say you disagree with the policy? So what's new about that?
Because he wants to be reelected in South Carolina, which is about a third black. And if they ever saw his true colors, black folks would be running from him. He wants to be, as Roland said earlier, he would love to run for president of the United States. And in order to do that, he has some Bojangles around the white people who he will depend on. We need to know who supports him. In other words, who gives him?
First of all, we already know who supports him. We already know who gives him money. Okay, it's established. It's the same as the other Republicans. But here's the deal: what I cannot tolerate is the bullshit fucking lying. I can't tolerate that. Look, okay, this is not hard, y'all, and this is very simple. Go to my computer. This is all you typed in. What type of grant does the federal government prefer? This is what I typed in. How does the federal government stipulate conditional grants? Right. Listen to what I just told y'all. All I typed in was how does the federal government stipulate conditional grants, which is what Senator Tim Scott was whining about in that clip on Face the Nation. Okay, look, the Congressional Research Service informing the legislative debate since 1914. This is dated May 22nd, 2019. Federal grants to state and local governments, a historical perspective on contemporary issues. Go to page 3. Okay, page 3. A continuum of federal grant administrative conditions. Of these 6 grant types, project categorical grants typically impose the most restraint on recipients. Federal administrators have a high degree of control over who receives project categorical grants. Recipients must apply to the appropriate federal agency for funding and compete against other potential recipients who also meet the program's specified eligibility criteria. Recipients have relatively little discretion concerning aided activities. Funds must be used for narrowly specified purposes, and there is a relatively high degree of federal administrative conditions attached to the grant, typically involving the imposition of, listen to me, y'all, typically involving the imposition of federal standards for planning, project selection, fiscal management, administrative organization, and performance. So what I am walking y'all through, is that right now, Senator Tim Scott has more than likely, and when I say more than likely, probably a 100%. It's likely 100% that Senator Tim Scott has actually voted for these very type of grants that he is now complaining about.
That's right. Trump was president in 2019. He didn't say anything then.
And you heard her say in one of the clips, what what they were talking about was in the Trump executive order.
Right.
And he cut her off.
He cut her off.
He cut off.
Yeah.
And I supported that. See, this is the part of the problem that I have with shows like Face the Nation, because they talk to him about a whole bunch of stuff. No, that's when you say, no, we throwing the rest of that out. We gonna stay on this topic. In fact, this is when you say, you know what? Bump that other guest. I need to keep this going for 10 more minutes. But see, that's not what they want to do. They don't want to sit here and actually do that, because then, he won't come back.
Right.
He's not going to come back.
Right. And who cares, by the way?
Predatory capitalism is the way that these shows operate. They operate to basically maximize their profits and minimize the voices of the people. I think that Sister Girl was doing a great job up to a point, but then she drops it. She just blocking drops it.
And see, and just so everybody knows, again, after he went on Face the Nation, here is Tim Scott talking to Trey Gowdy, former congressman from South Carolina, who now works at Fox News. Listen.
His buddy.
Yeah, these guys are, let me see if I can reset this here.
They're good friends.
Oh, yeah. Okay, just so y'all know, again, how the cute little game is played. Here we go.
Joining us, Senator, the Democrats left the negotiating table twice. Why?
Yeah. Trey, it looks like they have just, they're managing so many crises. I think they're looking for a way to give Biden a win. Think about Afghanistan crisis, the border crisis, crisis in the Middle East, a crisis of spending, crisis in taxing. So they're putting politics over people and focusing on a partisan victory. They're actually going to look for the perfect and make it the enemy of the good. I simply cannot understand my friends on the other side who must have forgotten what it feels like to live in marginalized communities, wanting police to be there to protect you, thinking about those single moms who come home late at night. They want protection. And 81% of African Americans, Trey, say they want the same level or more police. And you listen to the other side, they're elites. They must not care.
Okay. See, this is the game they play. This is the game they play. 81% of African Americans want to feel safe. Yeah. I don't know anybody who prefers to be unsafe.
Right.
But what Senator Tim Scott did not mention on Fox News is the damn near $1 billion local governments have paid out in police abuse cases. What you hear Senator Tim Scott did not mention was the 2 cases we showed y'all of canine dogs attacking 2 black men. What he didn't mention is Laquan McDonald's case in Chicago, where the cops lied about the shooting and Van Dyke was convicted. He didn't mention the cop in Florida who's in prison for shooting a brother who was in the choir. The cop was driving an unmarked van and walked up on the brother and damn near immediately started shooting. See, he ain't mentioned none of those cases. See, what Senator Tim Scott will never say to Fox News and own up to is black people want to feel safe in their communities. What they don't want are being beaten by cops, being lied on by cops. That's what they don't want. But I guess he overlooks those marginalized voices.
No, that's right, of course. I mean, this is the game. His game is all about making sure that nobody is in a position to ask him questions for more than, 2 or 3 minutes, because it can't withstand, this routine cannot withstand 3 or 4 minutes of specific questions. And he knows that. This is the PR game. And that's why I don't know why the big charade. If it was any other senator, if it was Jim Inhofe or some conservative Republican, they would have said, look, I'm not for this. I don't want to change anything about policing. I'm not in favor of the George Floyd Act, so I don't want to talk about it. So why did we just go through this big charade? Why did Tim Scott why did he want to appear as if he was interested? For what?
But Laura,
I mean, that
he
would
wants
be
relevant. He wants black people to think well of him. So it was a great optic for him to say he was going to do this and to sit with Karen Bass and to sit with the others. It was a great optic. But he never in his entire lifetime, planned to move any closer to Bass and the others around the George Floyd Transparency in Policing Act. What he did.
The flip side of this too. The flip side is, Congresswoman Bass and Senator Booker should have called a press conference and lit his ass up right after this happened. That we found out that the talks had broken off, because this whole kumbaya, this whole routine that they're doing of not specifically bringing up the dysfunction and the fact that the Republican Party is not interested in serious policy, in serious federal policy, that needs to be pointed out as much as possible.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's Senator Cory Booker, on Meet the Press, and I saw him earlier. That was an interview when he was on Black News Channel. Senator Cory Booker, I need you to, and I already sent him a DM saying I need you to have your staff return some phone calls, because I've been trying to call you because you changed your cell phone number, and maybe I should call the girlfriend, Rosario Dawson, to get a message to him, like, yo, can you call a brother? No, because bottom line is here, we were out there. We were dealing with it. So this is what he told Chuck Todd, and I appreciate them going to all these mainstream folks, but come talk to black people where people actually watch the show. Listen to this.
Want to let you go without asking about your take on why police reform didn't come to fruition. Here's what Tim Scott said. He said Democrats said no because they could not let go of their push to defund our law enforcement. Is that correct?
No. Again, why are we descending into partisan name-calling or partisan corners? These are two guys that sat down, that worked very hard over 9 months, got the FOP to endorse a compromise bill.
Stop right there. See, all right. Scott's wearing your ass out, controlling the narrative. See, let me go. See, let me walk the audience through, because Lauren mentioned it. I need y'all to understand what's really going on here. Senator Tim Scott, whole deal is, how can we control the narrative?
Right.
Boom, he throws it out. Defund. We defund it out. Senator Cory Booker, why do we have to sit here and use names? Bruh! Recognize what they're doing. Let me go back.
I never imagined we would get FOP leadership to come on board. The International Association of Chiefs of Police, who said, yes, our profession's in trouble. Right. The families were with what we were proposing. It didn't work.
Why do you think Senator Scott's using this language, though? Because you've been very diplomatic. He's not being as diplomatic. Why?
I love him. I send him grace all the time. He is a friend of mine. The reality is I've gotten big things done in this town, in this space, with Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley and Donald Trump. We got big things done to cut.
Do you think McConnell didn't want him to cut this deal? Do you think there were others above him that was basically like, do the best you can, but?
I promised the families we're going to get something done. I'm still at work. I'm not throwing accusations at either side. I do think this town has got to learn, all of us, that to try to play the singularly blame game. Right. I accept responsibility. We didn't get it done. I haven't stopped working. We need to lift the frequency of this town, especially on issues like this, that all of America knows. Biggest demonstrations in this country's history for change. They want change from the federal level.
It's quite notable, though, that you're not going politics here. Senator Scott is. Just saying.
Again, I've learned a lot over the last 8 years, and that's not the way to get things done in the long run. And the families deserve. We're going to still see videotapes of unarmed African Americans being killed. We've had tragedies in this country we've all witnessed. We've got to start getting things done. And the wonderful thing about it is, police leaders understand it as well. We've got to get back to the table eventually and get big things done.
Wow. Let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. You ain't my friend if on the other side of the room you telling everybody he ain't shit. But then when you come with me, hey buddy, no.
Senator Tim Scott dragged Senator Cory Booker's ass. And this site, if y'all want a case study on how Democrats keep getting their asses handed to them, I just showed you.
Exactly.
This is why.
You're absolutely right.
What would tell you that he's wrong is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell doesn't come to the table and talk about anything when he's in the majority. He does his thing. And until the Democratic Party understands that and realizes that you have to roll these people, they're not negotiating with you. They're playing PR games on Fox News. And they never figure, I don't know what it is about the Democratic Party. They never figure this out. And they learn this lesson of getting their ass kicked over and over and over again. The only one that really seems to understand what the heck is going on really is Pelosi. I mean, she just does her thing. She didn't care about what they're thinking and what they're saying.
See, Omakongo, look, here's the deal. I don't know, Omakongo. I'm hopeful that ABC News will call me back to do This Week after I destroyed Chris Christie.
It's a good show.
It was the first time I was on in 20 months. It may be another 20 months. But here's my whole deal. I'm not going to sit here. There's a reason Fox News don't call me.
Yep.
There's a reason Bill Maher called me one time, October 2014, and he ain't going to pick that phone up again. Because, see, and I remember when I was at CNN, I remember one of the executives called my agent and he was like, well, when we have these debates, but he takes them so, it's just a debate. I'm like, no. I'm here to put your ass in a rhetorical body bag. I'm here to bury your ass. I am not here to be cute, we can play patty cake. No, no, Ro ain't here for patty cake. Because the issue here, this is about the lives of people.
Right, life and death.
And you gotta understand the other side, they ain't playing by no rules. They ain't playing nice. Scott just said you walked away from the table twice. And your response is, well, I don't know why they're using those phrases. I don't like calling names. He's my friend. I'm going to extend him grace. I ain't extending. Let me tell you something. I'm just going before I go to. Let me go biblical here, Senator Cory Booker. When you say, I'm going to extend him grace, the great German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer coined a phrase called cheap grace. And cheap, and just so everybody need to understand, the German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer studied at Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem. Bonhoeffer traveled to the United States and saw faith in action, saw social justice and the church combined. Bonhoeffer took what he discovered and studied at Abyssinian Baptist Church and took it back to Germany, began to apply liberation theology in Germany, which is why he was part of the resistance against Hitler, even reached the point of participating in a plot to assassinate Hitler and determined that killing an evil man like Hitler was justified in the eyes of God because of the evil that he personified, but I digress. He came up with the notion of cheap grace because cheap grace, as Bonhoeffer defined it, Omakongo, was when somebody commits sin and they go, God forgive me, I'm gonna be a hoe again tomorrow, but forgive me tonight. And then when they hoe tomorrow night, then they come, God forgive me. He said, no. He said, we want to keep extending cheap grace. He said, people want, he called that cheap, Senator Cory Booker, that's cheap grace. Because the man has rejected your grace. Said you walked away from the table. Say you want to defund the police. He don't care. He ain't calling you friend. He is treating you like a foe. And when somebody shows you that they are a foe, you do not hug and kiss and be nice. No, you got to treat them like KG did when he played against somebody. He said, we ain't friends, because when the game starts, we on opposite sides, and I'm trying to win. And I'm going to do whatever necessary to take you out. That's how Republicans play the game in this city.
Period, bottom line. Period, bottom line. And not only did Senator Tim Scott say everything that you just mentioned, then he went further to call them all elitists, to talk about they forgot what it's like to live amongst the people. And Senator Booker is always talking about, I still live in the city. I still live amongst the people, so on and so he took that as well. And these guys, one of the things that we didn't mention is why Senator Scott is doing this and why McConnell and all of them doing that. They're running the clock as well. They are working to get as close to the midterms as possible, so they're going to delay all of this. And as Lauren said, the Democrats keep falling for this. For some reason, I don't know why this time I thought it was going to be different. Maybe, coming off of Trump and everything that he did, that they were going to be like, we're not falling for the BS anymore, but they're going for it again. You're sitting here talking about, that's my friend, I love him, and so on. So what? I love getting home safe at night. I love, when a cop runs up to me, I love knowing that they're trained and they're not going to try to just shoot me up just because my lights are off or something like that. This is like you said, this is life or death for us. And that's why when you go into these studios, you don't play with them. And that's why these senators and Congress folks can't be playing with these guys right now, because they don't care about our lives. And Senator Booker, respect what you're doing. Representative Bass, loving all of the work that you're doing. But you're right, these senators, we gotta play hardball, man, because it is literally for us a matter of life or death. Forget all of this friendship stuff.
But hold on. Before I go to Julian, again, I'm just gonna give y'all a quick. Literally, we gonna close out in 3 minutes. But I just want. This is a 38-second clip. But y'all know I don't never like showing anything from CNN. But I'm gonna show y'all how not to respond to Republican attacks. Watch this.
The bill that you were pushing was defunding the police.
Again, it's unfortunate. You remember on this saga, we got the head of the FOP.
Stop right there. Okay, let me go back. Here's the question.
The bill that you were pushing was defunding the police.
Boom. Come back. This is your response. Jake, that's a lie. And it's an offensive lie. As Senator Tim Scott knows it.
Period.
He knows that's not the case. And I wish he would stop telling that lie in order to score points with his Republican counterparts. Listen.
Roland.
No, hold on. Listen.
Again, it's unfortunate. You remember on this saga, we got the head of the FOP, the director of FOP, IACP, these are some of the biggest unions and law enforcement agencies, to go with us on a lot of common sense reforms. And those folks don't want to defund the police. This is a bill that would have had millions of dollars for police to.
Okay, hold on.
So
fewer dollars though?
Millions of dollars more. Additional dollars, because we want to help officers with mental health issues.
Stop. Okay. All right. So this is how you say it. Jake, I met with the Fraternal Order Police. They agreed to this. I met with the International Police Association. They agreed to this. The very people, Jake, who are wearing the badge, who are patrolling the streets, they agreed to this, and this. Senator Tim Scott, who does not wear the badge, refused to actually do this. You also don't go on television with that mansy-pansy, weak-ass millions of dollars. No! Give the number. Say 75 million, 125 million, 200 million. That's what you do. Learn to fight when you are in a war.
Right.
Instead, would be millions of dollars. Jay goes, hire a lawyer. No, I mean millions. No, give me number. Julian, go ahead.
You're absolutely right. These Negroes run around acting like they're scared. Scurred. They have the power in the Congress, in the Senate with 50 votes. They have the presidency. They have the White House. Why do these people not just do their damn work? Just do your work. I'm so disappointed in Cory Booker that I cannot even articulate it. But he'd been Mr. Bojangles much of his life. He was anointed by the Clintons and others as this, Harvard, Yale, wherever he went, black man who's so articulate that he was still of the people. Well, no, he's not of the people. And Tim Scott is right about him from that perspective. Because if he was of the people, he would not be mouthing this bullcrap. He just wouldn't be doing it. And so what we need to do about those like Scott and those like Booker is vote them out, both of them. Lauren is up there cracking up. She's cracking me up by watching her crack. And because this shit is funny, excuse my language, but this shit is funny. It's funny when you have all the power, but you refuse to exercise it. And what it does is to the detriment of our people. And the challenge then, though, is that these people come running back around us every 2 years, 4 years for elections, talking about vote for me because I'll set you free. No, you really won't. No, you really didn't.
Folks, look, all I'm trying to say is this here. This is too serious to continue to play these games. The Republican Party, listen, I need everybody listen to me, and all y'all people who sending me dumbass tweets like some woman talking about you ain't right for supporting Biden. Fool, it was Trump or Biden.
Come on.
That's who the hell it was. Y'all can sit here and run around y'all want to. Here's what I know, and y'all need to listen to me clearly on. The Republican Party wants to take over the House and the Senate, and they want to win back the White House in 2024. They will not support any civil rights investigation in the Department of Justice. They will not support any police consent decrees in the Department of Justice. One of the first acts of Jeff Sessions under Donald Trump was to remove the money that they were used to investigate white domestic terrorism and moved it over to target Muslims, when the greatest threat, according to the FBI director, was white domestic terrorism. And y'all can sit here, and let me tell you, and I ain't never said anybody, Biden damn sure ain't perfect. But if you tell me I got a choice between busting his ass and dealing with crazy ass Trump and his white nationalists, ain't even a discussion as far as I'm concerned. But what we are not gonna do is sit here and play games with these folks who wanna play nice. So I wanna know where all the white people out on the streets after George Floyd was killed. Who y'all calling on Capitol Hill? Are y'all flooding the offices of Senator Tim Scott? Everybody who was protesting in LA, and Portland, and Milwaukee, and Charlotte, and New York City, and Houston, and St. Louis, every major city. Where y'all at? All y'all corporations. All y'all corporations. All y'all corporations. All y'all corporations who posted your black squares. Where y'all at?
Come on.
Where y'all at? I want to know why y'all silent.
Yep.
I'm talking to y'all right here. Come on. Where y'all at? Where are you? Why are y'all not jumping all over Booker and Scott and saying, get back to the table and negotiate? Because for many of you, it was performative. For many of you, it was following the leader. Oh, everybody's talking about it. Yo, send out a George Floyd tweet. Post a black box. Say Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter after the black man was killed, and it matters after the bill was killed. What y'all gonna do? Folks, back to our Roll Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punching!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?
You know, Donald Trump, we all know he lost, even though he refuses to accept that he got his ass whooped. Well, guess what? When you get checked out of public housing like he did, that means you lost. No, you didn't win. And he keeps losing. They lost in court numerous times when it came to, again, his lying claims about him winning the election and it being rigged. It wasn't. It was a lie. It was a big-ass lie. Now he loses again. I remember all the names that he called his former aide, Omarosa Manigault-Newman. Well, this whole issue about this non-disclosure agreement. So he required all of the people working on this campaign to sign NDAs. The fool even had the people in the White House sign NDAs. Y'all, they're taxpayer funded. You can't do that. So they went to arbitration. Well, the arbitrator agreed with Omarosa with her argument that the non-disclosure agreement she signed while working for Trump's 2016 campaign is invalid under New York contract law. Now, he sued her after she released her 2018 book, Unhinged, an insider's account of the Trump White House. Well, she joins us right now from Jacksonville, Florida. Omarosa, glad to have you here. In addition to winning, the campaign has to pay your legal fees?
Yes, they do. They have to pay my legal fees and all costs as well. So it's quite a victory, but also a victory for all the other staffers who have been gagged and who have been silenced and not able to share what they've experienced during their time in the White House or on his campaign.
So because this arbitrator's ruling, so if anyone else who signed, again, NDAs with the campaign, are they now free to talk, or could he just try to sue them and then force all of them to go to an individual arbitrator as well?
Yes, certainly. Because of this decision, which is a bit groundbreaking, it basically throws out his NDA as it relates to the campaign as well as to the White House. As you said, it's unprecedented that he had White House staffers sign NDAs, but particularly with these NDAs that he's used the same template, by the way, for years. And the arbitrator said it was just too ambiguous and too vague, and he threw it out. So anyone else who finds himself being sued by Donald Trump, like I have, will be face-to-face with him. And he has already taken an L in this area, and they probably would be victorious.
So clearly his camp not particularly happy that he lost, and he called you all sorts of names after your book came out.
He actually gave a statement, which I'm so glad that most of these newspapers have decided not to print the statement. He gave a statement this morning in response to the decision, and it said nothing about his loss. He only attacked me and my character and wished me great failure in my life forever. It was just bizarre. And I'm just grateful that he doesn't have Twitter, because I'm sure he would have continued with the insults and the name calling.
Oh, I didn't even realize the idiot sent out a statement.
He did.
And so let's see here. Let's see here.
The only publication that printed it was The Hill, And so,
well, first of all, let's just be clear: the Hill is the Hill is a right-wing outlet.
Yes.
That's what they are. And you know the guy who owned it, he was trying to do deals with them. So let's just be real clear in terms of what they are. They are indeed in Oregon, and you're right. I mean, he's pissed off that he doesn't have Twitter to attack people, and then the press breathlessly reports everything that he says, aiding and abetting whatever he wants to do.
Well, I think the biggest, injury to his followers is this was the campaign that sued me. So all of those individuals giving donations to Donald Trump and going out to his rally and buying all of his items to support his funding, the money to reimburse my attorney for my legal fees and all my costs, which is well into the 7 figures, are going to come from those low-dollar donors who have supported Donald Trump. And he continues this grift. He continues to take from these followers, acting as if he's going to support them or try to improve their lives. Instead, he's just utilizing it to fund all of these frivolous lawsuits. And so the sad part is all of that money that he's about to pay me is coming from his supporters and from donors who've tried to, further his political career.
And that's really what that whole thing a grift is. And they're just funding his sheer stupidity. And I said it, and I don't care. If you're a MAGA person giving money to Donald Trump, you're stupid as well, because this dude is playing you like he played folks from day one.
Yes, but I have one more lawsuit left. Donald Trump utilized the Justice Department to go after me in another unprecedented lawsuit. So I'm still facing legal situation with him. He decided to sue me for a document that I attempted to file. Of course, he blocked me from filing and then sued me. And under this particular act, only 2 people in the history of the act in 20 years have been brought up, and the largest fee that they've ever seen has been about $1,500. Donald Trump has asked that they fine me $60,000 for a late form, essentially, which would equate to about a $25 fine. But again, he is utilizing the government to go after his political rivals. And so hopefully very soon, the Justice Department will make a ruling about that frivolous lawsuit as well.
And obviously, what is amazing is that what he did in that case, just sheer silence from Republicans who clearly had no problem with him using the authority of the Justice Department to attack people he didn't like.
Yeah, there's so many lawsuits that he filed while president, and he asked the AG at that time to go after all of the individuals who decided to speak out, to shine some light on the wrongdoing, who decided to be a whistleblower. And so, yes, he used Justice Department attorneys, he used Justice Department resources, and it's unprecedented. So I'm expecting that that decision will come in the next couple of months. And then once that's done, I can focus on my future, focus on law school, and continue the work that I'm doing here in Jacksonville.
So do you, I'll ask you the last question here. Obviously, he's holding his rallies. Do you think that he definitely plans on running in 2024?
Well, that's if his health holds up. I mean, Donald Trump has had problems with his health for years. He, even in the White House, hid, some of the heart conditions that he had and heart issues. The doctors never told the truth about those issues. And I think that the stress and the strain of being on a political campaign, on a presidential campaign, can really wear on him. I think he desires to, but I don't know that he has the health or even the mental agility to do it again. And Roland, I just want to quickly shout out my legal team was made up of 4 people, 3 of which were African Americans. So Joey Jackson, who I know you know, Jay Wendell Gordon, and Erica Jackson, who is also a Southern University graduate, HBCU grad, and then of course John Phillips out of Jacksonville. So I had a great team, but predominantly African American teams that defeated Donald Trump in this arbitration.
All right, Omarosa, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own, a black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Rolling was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared. You dig?
That is R. Kelly, found guilty on all counts in federal New York trial. He was found guilty on 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of sex trafficking. Of course, jurors began deliberations on Friday, quickly reached a verdict after a weekend hiatus. Kelly will find out if he will spend decades in prison when he is sentenced on May 4th. The singer still has charges pending in Illinois as well as Minnesota, and of course, there's still an investigation happening in the state of Georgia. Man. Folks, let's now talk with one of the co-founders of the Mute R. Kelly movement. She joins us now from Atlanta. Ronna K., glad to have you on the show. Let's get right to it. This is, here's what I found to be very interesting. R. Kelly could have left the country. He was found not guilty in the 2008 trial. Heat was being applied to him, chose to stay, and in talking with folks out of Chicago, in his camp's mind thinking, oh, we're going to beat this thing again. But what you saw this time, you saw the feds use a different tactic. In the first trial, it really hinged on the testimony of one young lady who was in the video. That jury did not say that there was not him on the videotape. What that jury said was they could not ascertain the age of the young girl in the video. This time, you had woman after woman after woman after woman after woman, and men testifying against him. And the big difference, I think, in this trial, you had people who worked for R. Kelly who also testified against him.
That's absolutely correct. And that was the strategy of our movement from the very beginning. This was a financial boycott because we understood that when it's a powerful, rich, famous, talented man against unknown women, that power dynamic can just be too hard to overcome. But when you're talking about the people around him who are enabling the behavior, who are hiding the secrets, who have the receipts, when you make it so they no longer have a financial incentive to do that, all the chips are going to fall and all the truth is going to come out. And it's going to make it harder to deny what we already know to be true. And so we use that strategy as a way to try to build awareness, but also to kind of pull down that wall of silence that had been insulating him for so long, because that wall was made of money. That wall was made of concert fees. That wall was made of radio spins. That wall was made of streaming. And that is what had kept him from justice for so long. But you take away somebody's financial incentive to protect someone they know to be a serial child molester, and the truth comes out. The feds come knocking on your door and you're not getting a paycheck from this person and you're looking at charges, you're more likely to go ahead and spill the beans. And so that's what we've seen happen, and that's what's worked.
And let's be clear, everything that you described, that's actually what it took to get to this point.
That is actually what it took. So it has never been about women coming forward. Women have been coming forward for decades. It's never been about us not knowing. We all saw the tape way back in the day. It's never been a secret that nobody knew about. I haven't met anybody in Chicago who's around my age who doesn't have an R. Kelly story. This isn't that we did not know what was true. It's that we did not have the tools in our arsenal to prove it. And he just had all the power and all the money. He was able to pay this family to go away during the trial and pay the family off so that they don't testify. He was able to just keep paying civil suits, to keep this out of a courtroom. So it's never been about truth. It's just been about getting to the people who are holding the receipts and making it so that they had to come forward.
It was a very strange defense, if you will, probably because they had none.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, when all the receipts are there, when all the witnesses are there, when this has been a big open secret for decades, it's really hard to craft a defense that's going to be convincible. So this was just lawyers billing hours and cashing checks because they knew that this was in no way going to be winnable. And they tried intimidating witnesses and doing some of their old tricks that didn't work. I mean, you saw so many of his lawyers, I think, at a certain point realizing this is fruitless and quitting. So he keep having to change lawyers and stuff. But there was nothing here that they could really fall back on other than just hoping that the jury might still have a soft spot for R. Kelly and let him off like they did the first time.
What do you make? I mean, I had people who were tweeting me, emailing me, "You're wrong. Read the transcripts. These folks are lying." I mean, this, he went by the Pied Piper, but this hold that he has on some black folks, I mean, they were absolutely bonkers. Hitting me up, literally saying our coverage was shameful and wrong, and read the transcripts, At one point, the attorney for one woman walked out of the courtroom in disgust. They were just throwing all kind of stuff out.
Well, if you think you've gotten those emails, then you should look in my inbox. But I think that, we are so hardwired as a community to want to protect Black men against everything. And when we see what looks like a concerted effort to quote unquote bring a Black man down, we will throw logic out the window. We will do every level of mental gymnastics. We will bend ourselves into a pretzel to figure out how to continue to defend these people, even as we see the evidence of their crimes, not against white America, not against the greater society, but against us, against our children, against our own very bodies. We will still try to figure out ways to make it so that it's not their fault and they're not guilty. So that's a real hurdle that as a community, we've got to figure out how to get over, because we need to be uplifting those that support and uplift us. And we need to be checking folks immediately who do not. We took an illiterate, uneducated man from the south side of Chicago and made him the biggest superstar in the world. And all that time, he was abusing our daughters. He was abusing our sons. He was beating on our children. He was breaking up our families all the time that we were supporting him. And so we've got to learn some discernment here when it comes to who it is that we need to be supporting. And men like this are not those people. We've got to stop all of the hoops and jumping through, rings of fire to figure out how to make a child molester, a pedophile, and a rapist a hero. He is not, and he doesn't deserve the loyalty that we've shown him, because he's never been that loyal to us.
One of the things so obviously he gets sentenced on May 4th. Not sure if a fine is going to be involved. I would assume you may have civil cases filed as well. So if that's the case, what about the folks who say don't play his music anywhere? So let's just say if there's a fine, if there are civil judgments, well then how do those get paid?
That is none of my business.
No. So what I'm asking is, so for the victims, so for the victims, right, then will that call a prohibition on any of his music continue?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because that is a cultural community decision that we need to take against any support or normalization of this person, any justification of why, he should be played at our weddings, So when we're talking about his money, he's going to have to figure that out. He's going to have to sell properties and Grammys and collectibles and, I don't know, tap dance on the corner with a guitar case. That's his business. That's his business. That's his lawyer's business, how he figures out how to pay civil cases. For those victims, absolutely, of course, we want them to be compensated, because what they have gone through merits compensation. Therapy costs money. The ability to move on with your life is not as easy as just saying I'm over it and then keep it moving. So absolutely, they are deserving. But we don't, as a community, ever want to backslide to thinking that we want our children singing "I Believe I Can Fly." We don't want our children singing the words of a sexual predator. We don't need at our weddings to be playing his music when we know all along that, one, a lot of that music was written about sex with children and helped fund rape of children. So we don't want to culturally make any excuses for why we want to keep playing him. He's got to figure out how to raise that money, and that is none of our business how he does it.
I'm going to bring in the panel here. What jumps out here, Lauren, were the prosecutors using the RICO statute to go after R. Kelly. That also was a difference because obviously it was a state trial that took place in Chicago in 2008. This here, you're dealing with a much different trial here, but also how the prosecutors went after R. Kelly.
Yeah, there was certainly a great deal of energy, the RICO statute. I thought I saw racketeering. I had not paid very specific attention to this case because I had a few other things going on, but I have no doubt that when you see that type of energy used against somebody, that certainly there's something there.
They use that because they position R. Kelly as being the head of a criminal enterprise. And so he said, so he was orchestrating this criminal enterprise in terms of taking these young girls across federal lines, of course, in terms of, and using employees to do his bidding as well. So that's why they use the RICO statute.
Yeah, the using of the employees, obviously this being the Southern District of New York, I would assume it's in Brooklyn. I eagerly await to see the same effort and energy go into Donald Trump, as he has been accused, I think, by 23 women of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape. So hopefully the government will use the same energy in a few more cases. We saw in the Weinstein case as well, certainly the difference, I think, in R. Kelly's case and in this case. R. Kelly, of course, we're dealing with minors in so many of these instances. But it would be interesting to see, hopefully that same jurisdiction will go after Donald Trump in the same I think, vigorous way that they just went after R. Kelly.
Congo, what do you make of, again, this jury decision? Very complex charges, did not take them very long to reach guilty on all counts.
Well, first of all, I want to commend Ms. Odelay and the entire team for everything they've done tirelessly to support our people and our children. It's beautiful to be able to say victims now as opposed to alleged victims, because really at the end of the day, it's a happy day, but it's also sad that it took this long and it took this much to get to where we are today. But this is what our people do. We are tireless and we fight. One of the things I would like to know is what's going to happen with people who are on his team, his co-conspirators, the people who helped with the trafficking, because my assumption is that since they don't have the same amount of resources as R. Kelly, they might still be around in some way, shape, or form, these women and other people that he abused. And so I'm wondering what the type of services and support that they're going to get, because I want to make sure that all of us are doing our best to support them as well.
Great point.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think that, being that this was charged under RICO and there's a conspiracy, there's no conspiracy without your conspirators. So we hope that additional charges will be brought against the people who enabled and helped him in this criminal ring for decades. We're really, really hoping that that's the case also, because they all need to be held accountable.
Julianne?
This case is a really important case around intersectionality. So many Black people feel like we have to rally around the Black person. And often when we do that, we put women at the periphery. We don't really necessarily look at Black women, and oftentimes we want to have this conversation about, well, what's wrong with her, as opposed to what's wrong with the perpetrator. You mentioned early on in the interview that there was a pressure to support R. Kelly because he's a Black man. How have you worked this intersectionality out, and what can we learn from this in terms of the many ways that Black women are sidelined?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great question and such an important topic that our community needs to be discussing, because you're absolutely correct. We have a knee-jerk reaction to support Black men when we see them in the news for something negative, but we don't have that same default when it comes to Black women. And so, you know, whenever a Black woman comes forward, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of moralizing, there's a lot of, well, why did you, and never is the focus placed where the focus needs to be, and that's on the perpetrator of the abuse against that Black woman. And so this has been a real difficult movement to navigate because you have to, one, kind of engage Black people in that double standard, and that's a hard thing to do. And you also have to get them to understand that supporting our sisters is just as important as supporting our brothers, because our sisters are the foundations of our family. And so if we are going to continue to throw our sisters aside and ignore them when they say they have issues and problems that need help, that need resources, and when they need protection, their ability to form whole, healthy Black families, which is the cornerstone of a whole and healthy Black community, is compromised. So we need to do so much of a better job of really listening to our sisters and checking the ego and some of the kind of training that we've all had. I am the exact same way. We've all had this training. The man's trying to bring the Black man down, but we ignore a lot of the real facts. Black women are the fastest growing incarcerated community. Black women have some of the biggest health disparities in this nation. Black women are getting paid less than everybody else on the totem pole. Black women are experiencing rape and abuse more often than any other group. The largest complaint against the police is not misconduct against Black men, it's rape and sexual abuse against women. So, you know, our needs are not being met, and we are so socialized to be strong, to soldier on, to stand up for our brothers, that we often don't stand up for ourselves. And I think we're seeing a shift now in our culture with Me Too and a lot of these other movements of Black women saying, hold up, no more. You can't put anything else on my back. I am not a mule. I need help. I need resources. You're going to listen to my problems. And when I ask for justice, I'm not going to stop until I get it. And I think that that's a wonderful turning point for us as a community, because we can't go anywhere without our sisters as a whole, as a society. We want to talk about economic empowerment or political empowerment. There is nothing we can do without our sisters being there whole and healthy and supported and loved. And so we need to be having a different conversation just as a community of how we treat Black women and how we see and value Black women.
He is going down. This is the New York case. You still have 2 other states. Then you still have a Georgia investigation. Are you others encouraging feds to continue there as well? Because sometimes what happens is someone's found guilty in another jurisdiction and they don't move on those particular cases as well. Your thoughts on what they should do next in the other 2 states?
Oh, absolutely. We want to see justice done wherever there are cases to be had, and especially here in Georgia, because that is where this movement started. And that family who started the outcry that led to all this still has not been reunited with their daughter. And so we absolutely want to see that investigation continue here and justice be done here as well, and everywhere. He doesn't get off the hook in any of these cases in our eyes. So he needs to go and sit in front of his accusers, and they deserve to have their day in court. And so we're going to keep pressing until all of these cases are complete.
All right, then. Veronica, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. If people want more information on the Mute R. Kelly movement, where do they go?
They can go to our website, muterkelly.com, or official Mute R. Kelly on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with rolling all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Rolling was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared. You dig? Folks, we've been talking all week about the failure of Republicans and Democrats to come to a resolution and agreement on the George Floyd Justice Act. We've been breaking down for you the weird discrepancies and the frankly hypocritical positions of South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Now, yesterday we talked on the show about how Senator Tim Scott previously agreed with withholding funds from police departments that did not make changes based upon federal law, which is a total opposite of what he said on Sunday on Face the Nation when he was criticizing Democrats for the exact same thing. Now, last night, I sent a text message to Senator Tim Scott asking him specifically about the contradiction. He's yet to respond. I sent an email to his staff, who yesterday sent me several emails regarding his position, specifically asking them about his prior position and his own deputy chief of staff telling Michael Harriott of the Root why they were doing it. I've gotten no response from his Senate staff. How does the George Floyd family feel? Thelonious Floyd is his brother. He joins us live right now from my home city, Houston, Texas. Thelonious, glad to have you back on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Just share with us your feeling right now with the fact that when y'all were in D.C. in May for the 1-year anniversary of the death of your brother, y'all came and sat with me on Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. Yes, the only interview y'all did that day. After you came from Capitol Hill, after you met with Senator Tim Scott, Senator Cory Booker, Senator Lindsey Graham, and others, well, they promised you they were going to get this done. Just share with our audience your reaction to hearing Senator Tim Scott say the Democrats want to defund the police, and that's why we can't move forward.
Every time I spoke with them, I've never said anything about defunding the police. You need police because you have bad people. The problem is with police, you shouldn't have to sort them out. Everybody should be equal and be good and do their job the right way. The problems that we are having, we're not having them because of them defunding the police. The police are free to roam and do what they want to do, but they're killing innocent black African-American people who I love, people of color, period. My brother passed, but he didn't. He died because he was murdered. The man stayed on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Hell, I was a truck driver, Mr. Rowland. The day my brother died, I could have hit rock bottom, but I didn't. I chose to get up and help these families because I was in the fight. Because when you lose someone that you love so much, it can change your entire life. And that's the reason I get up every day and I tell myself, I'm going to speak. But speaking to Timothy Eugene Scott, speaking to Lindsey Graham multiple times, and I have sat there and watched these people lie to me in my face. Not just me, You had other families in there. You had Botham John. You had Terrence Crutcher. You had Eric Garner. These are moms and sisters. I'm a brother. But the fact that you had moms in there and you lied to somebody's mom who lost their child, that's very painful. And Gianna was in there too. They lied to Gianna. She's a child. You shouldn't lie to kids. You don't have to. She didn't ask for her dad to be murdered. He was murdered by the police, and as that is your job to make sure you put laws in place intact to help other individuals be able to live and be free and have freedom. We don't have freedom. I don't care what people say. My brother, he walked to the store. That was a problem. He was murdered. You got Ahmaud Arbery. He ran down the street jogging. He was lynched. You have Botham Jean. He was in the comfort of his own home eating ice cream and was murdered by a police officer because she came into the wrong house. Not only that, you have Breonna Taylor. She was murdered off a no-knock warrant, and she was killed, and she still don't even know she did because she was asleep. This is not a mistake. These are patterns. And Timothy Eugene Scott, you need to wake up. Lindsey Graham, you the one that said you was going to get this bill passed. You told us that. And we all sat there and believed because we can't make you do anything. All we know is you all can make laws for the elite and the chosen, but we want you to make laws for the people with no voices. And I'm one of the people that's going to stand up for these people. And I know, Mr. Rowland, you've been doing it for a long time, and I've been watching a lot of your shows. But the fact that I agree that we will have to fight, and we'll have to do it all over. The fact that my ancestors, they have passed away countless times, all for over 400 years, and all they wanted to do was just be free and live their life the way they should have been able to live countless times. I look up every day and I think about them being bitten, trying to vote, trying to think that, okay, if I vote, I can put the right president in and I can get things accomplished. You know, we believed in Biden's administration. And when I can tell you all we asking for, the same thing we've been asking for over 400 years. We just want to be treated fairly. That's all we want. And for me to sit there,
you mentioned believing in the Biden administration. You mentioned believing in the Biden administration. What do you want President Biden to do right now?
I want him to call down to Eugene Scott and Lindsey Graham, everybody, because Sheila Jackson Lee, the Energizer Bunny, she's been running herself rapidly and crazy in circles trying to get things accomplished. You have Karen Bass, you have Pelosi, all of these people, they're looking because they know what's going on. The problem is with Eugene Scott and with Lindsey Graham and probably more Republicans because we don't want to defund the police. We want the police to respect us as human beings. We just want to be treated fairly. The things with Biden, you know, I know he's looking at everything right now, but hey, we need your help. We need the vice president's help. We need anybody who can make an executive decision right now to pass this George Floyd Policing Act because people are dying at a rate. I was in Minnesota and I'm there for my brother at a case in court, and all of a sudden, Dante Wright has been murdered. And I went out and spoke about him. The problem is it happened in Minnesota again, 5 minutes away from where I was speaking and trying to get my brother's life on track because he was murdered. You know, we don't want a watered down bill. We want the George Floyd Policing Act passed, just like it is. We want to end qualified immunity. We want to end a lot of different things. The no-knock warrants, we don't need to have that. The no chokeholds, we don't need that. We need you all to have the police officers to have you all's dash cams on at all time, your body cams on at all time, because it's a problem if you don't. Because it takes 20 to 30 seconds for it to come back on. And if you have something to hide, that's what I'm looking to find out. What are you doing behind closed doors? What kind of skeletons do you have? That's what I need to know, Mr. Rowland.
Questions, Faraji Muhammad first for Felonious Floyd.
Brother Felonious, thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, my heart and prayers continue to go out to you and your family in this time. You know, as I'm listening to you, brother, I'm just so disturbed, and it's really unfortunate that you have to come on here and you have to be an advocate, that you gotta continue to you know, push people to do the simple right thing, and it's sad. And you know, I guess I don't have any questions, just because my heart is just broken, because I'm hearing you and I'm reading some of our watchers on Facebook. One of our watchers said you should run for public office, because at this point it's hard to have a belief in anything in the government, just because there has been so many lies that have been told to our people about ensuring some level of justice. So I'm just wondering, dear brother, you know, what can the people do, the community, black folks that are listening, and black folks across the country? Your brother's death galvanized a movement like we haven't seen, and I don't think it was just about him. It started with him, but it was really about the larger issue. So what can we do to help you, dear brother? How can we be of a service and assistance? Do we, you know, I'm not even sure if we can get the bill back on the agenda at this point, but what do we need to do on the state level, city level, to help you and your family, most importantly, helping the families of so many other folks that you have come across that have been victimized by police officers?
First thing first, we can never give up hope. We always got to be able to work together, because we're stronger in numbers. I say that all the time. The fact that we are, sir?
No, I was just agreeing with you, dear brother. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The fact that people got out and marched during COVID, when it was a pandemic, people were losing their lives, going home to tables with empty chairs, and they still got out and marched. They didn't fear COVID. What they feared were police officers out there murdering people. And it wasn't just African-American people out there marching. You had Caucasian people out there marching, people who went to school with African-American people, people who played with us, people who grew up with us. You are not taught to be racist. You become racist because of who in your family. Because outside of that, people don't teach you that. People just tell you to go out and have fun. So I want everybody that's with us, you know, just period. This is a movement, and we need to stick to it, because right now they're sweeping it under the rug, and whatever we have to do to get out there and be team players. And when I say team players, get out there and get to marching and protesting. We got to do it peacefully, because right now, if you do anything wrong, they'll find a reason to kill you. And I want you always to remember this. If they can make federal laws to protect a bird, which is the bald eagle, they can make federal laws to protect people of color. And you know, the thing that I never understood was how, if you can see a black person killed, nobody says anything. But you see a white person killed, and there's an outrage. It's time for a change, and it's up to us as brothers and sisters. Dr. King said a long time ago, he had a dream that people all around the world would join hands together, and we close to doing that, because the world has got behind George Floyd. The world has got behind this movement, and they're pushing behind Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Pamela Turner. I can keep naming them. It's so many of them. Anthony McClain. And this is a sad situation that we have to fight for what we're fighting for. And we have to feel like we're second-class citizens, because they're making laws for Asians and everybody else except people of color.
Michael.
Hey, Brother Felonious, thanks for coming on today and sharing this information with us. And
yes, sir.
You know, I'm just, my heart goes out to you and your family, and you will keep persevering as well. Yes, so I see that also. yesterday, the New York Times had a huge story that talked about more than half of police killings are mislabeled. And they looked at they're looking at a 40-year period of time from 1980 to 2018. And about 55% of fatal encounters with police officers have been mislabeled. They have not properly been counted. So we're looking at about an undercount of about 17,000 people who have been killed by police from 1980 to 2018. With information like this just came out yesterday. With information like this, one, do you think this will help be able to push through the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act? Because one of the things that it will do is require accurate reporting when it comes to police fatalities. And two, there's some talk about a carve out to the filibuster rule to be able to get this pushed through the Senate by 51 votes, 50 Democrats and Vice President Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker. What are your thoughts on this and trying to get this pushed through through a carve out to the filibuster? Because we're not going to get any help from Republicans on this. They've just been stalling.
But my thoughts is we gotta build. We gotta build, and we have to continue, just like you said, what you read in the Times. We have to continue to gather that information and just apply it to people who need to hear it constantly. Because the problem is not us. It's clearly everybody else. Because we're not the one killing people. We are the ones being murdered. So for us to have the problems that we're having now, I pretty much think that we need to, not only us, anybody else who wants to relay the message, just like what you just said, we can. I'll even speak to them when I have the opportunity to, because right now, evidently you can see what's going on. Nobody wants to speak to me now because I'm in an outrage. And the fact that I understand, but the problem that I'm going with now, it's not about how much. The problem is basically it's like change doesn't come without cost, and it's basically how much are you willing to lose to win the fight? That's it. We're not going to war, but we're not laying down either. So I stand with you, brother. And all the information that you're telling me, I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna make sure they understand that these are facts. This is not fiction. Facts. Right. You can't take away facts, just like you couldn't take away that video of my brother.
Thank you.
Philonis, last question for you. I said earlier this week that I believe that the George Floyd family, the Breonna Taylor family, others' family, they should announce that they are coming to Washington, D.C., that they are demanding that Senator Tim Scott, Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Mitch McConnell, Senator Chuck Schumer, Senator Cory Booker, Senator Dick Durbin sit at the table to meet with them and look them in the eye and say, why have y'all failed? Is that something that y'all are considering, literally making that demand and say, we are going to come to Capitol Hill and we want that meeting and see who shows up?
I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it because it's not just my brother's life that has been taken away. You have millions and billions of people living in this world where they are killing innocent people. I'm talking about police brutality on innocent people. I will go. Just give me the time and the place. I will be there because somebody has to speak out. Somebody has to let them know that, hey, I'm still here. You're not finna just grab pliers and twist my teeth and make it hard for me to live. No, I'm here. I'm here to stay. I want to be able to make sure my kids be able to live in this world without telling them, hey, make sure when the police pull you over, make sure you have all the windows down, for they won't be able to say, hey, I thought somebody was in the back seat, that's why I started shooting. No, I don't hate police. I think police are good people. But the fact that I have to get up out of my bed every day and tell people what reality is, this here is a big mess. And we're not sleeping. We're wide awake. We can get the Capitol Hill, Mr. Rowland. We can do that. I'll be with them if they want to. I'm here for them.
Y'all let me know when you do that, and we'll be there to live stream y'all walking up the steps on Capitol Hill to that meeting. And so I think they have to be challenged directly. And yes, President Biden has to be challenged directly to actually do more as well, because frankly, the White House has been silent this week on the collapse of these talks. And it's time for them to step the hell up. Felonious Floyd, I always appreciate having you on the show, brother. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches! Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way. Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?
Democrats and Republicans have been negotiating. Senators Cory Booker as well as Senator Tim Scott have been going back and forth, had lots of conversations, lots of negotiations going on between the two. Well, guess what? Nothing has happened. There's no bill. Senator Tim Scott said he is disappointed with Democrats for the lack of willingness to compromise. Listen to this.
Negotiations coming to an end?
I am disappointed about it. I've spent several months working on it, and frankly, the amount of misinformation is remarkable from the other side of the aisle. It is disappointing without much of a question.
Yeah, Senator Warren said this morning that talks aren't over on their end, but I know you said that they were the ones that walked away from the table here.
Yeah, I mean, the concern, of course, is that what they'll try to do is find some executive order and or slide it into reconciliation in a very partisan fashion, and that's unfortunate and likely. They both, in their statements, made it very clear that they're looking for a way to do this from a partisan perspective, unwilling to negotiate on behalf of the communities that need the help the most. They're going to just find a way to shove it into something in a very partisan.
They're going to pursue executive order in a partisan fashion. You mean like the executive order that you agreed with? That same one, the one you agreed with under Trump? That's quite interesting. Oh, man, folks, it is certainly unfortunate that we're not going to see the George Floyd Justice Act passed. And yeah, Senator Tim Scott, you owe a much better explanation than what you said. Folks caught up with you in the hallway there to say Democrats did not accept compromise. Okay, detail that. Greg Carr, what do you make of Senator Tim Scott not being able to corral some votes? According to Congresswoman Karen Bass, Senator Cory Booker negotiated with the Fraternal Order Police. Democrats compromised on a whole lot of different areas. Scott couldn't deliver.
No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. You know what's so funny, Roland? I love that interview, man. And I love how you picked up immediately on that laugh. She's like, I got that laugh. She know what it is. I want to congratulate Timothy Eugene Scott. Tim Scott doing Tim Scott things. I want to congratulate Tim Mission Accomplished Scott, who entered that quote unquote negotiation in bad faith with one objective: to stop anything, to stop everything. That's why that ghoul, that old feckless old unreconstructed ghoul from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, sent his servant, his good and faithful servant, into that conversation. I want to congratulate Senator Cory Booker, who finally reached the floor of his self-respect and said no. After I've given away everything, I want to congratulate the people who leaked the evisceration of the legislation by Senator Booker with the Fraternal Order of Police after making a quote unquote secret deal. I want to congratulate the people who leaked it so that then they could walk back from it, as those the Sheriff's Association and other groups met with Senator Tim Mission Accomplished Scott and young Lindsey, well, little Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. I want to congratulate everyone in the white nationalist contingent who sent Tim Scott into that room with one objective and one objective only: to defend the patter rollers. Don't let anything happen. And when you heard finally, which is why, again, when she laughed that laugh, this is a woman who managed the whole California legislature, who was on the short list to be vice president of the United States candidate because of her capacity to negotiate, among other things. When Congresswoman Bass said that they couldn't even get the thing Donald Trump agreed to passed. That's all you need to know. They couldn't even pass a resolution in the United States Senate to say George Floyd was murdered. And guess who would vote against that resolution? Tim Mission Accomplished Scott. Young, good job, Tim. You're doing Tim Scott things. Proud of you.
Folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches! Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared. You dig?